Hi, everybody. This is Extra Star Wars. We're live on 531. Let's get started. Special shout out to my daughter for being my actor in that wonderful intro that I threw together, and I was so excited for it. And I don't think Restream really played it well, just because it was a little cranky on my end. But we are back for Extra Star Wars Kenobi edition. It is great to have you back, gentlemen. It has been more than 100 days since we were all together last. And I am so pumped up to be with you. Yes, just like Kenobi is a limited series, we are now a limited podcast. Mr. Mateo, we were here last week. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Just living the dream.
We're in for a long chat tonight, my friend. I hope you are ready. Damien crushing the Casa de Du pregame. Unbelievable growth over the past 200 days because you were able to focus in on other content. How are you and how's that going?
Good, man. It's kind of exhausting. It started as like a very fun hobby, and then I'm like, oh, I feel the need to put out something today, or I feel the need to do something today.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's good to be back and good to be talking Star Wars, and definitely from the first two episodes, quality Star Wars.
Indeed.
Boba Fett, but
everything against
Boba Fett, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
Fine. I'll jump on the boat too
in that discourse. But yes, it's great to have the gang back here. We had a little talking Kenobi. We had a little bit of celebration chat also last week, and one thing I mentioned to Mike is that I was feeling a little my Star Wars love was fading a little bit. And Celebration brought me back, to a point where I was like, oh, we got some decent stuff coming out. So it's not a Celebration show. If you want to check out my top 10 moments from Celebration, you can go over to the Extra Star Wars YouTube channel. It has nearly 200 views already. It's about 6 minutes long, and you can see what I thought about it. So please check that out. Hey, big special shout out to the Red 5 Network. Rogue One Radio was just live. They could still be live. I know they were streaming a little bit about part 1 and part 2. The problem with being part of a Star Wars community is that a lot of people talk about the same things. But if you're here, you're going to hear what we have to say. And we try to stray to the truth, and we try to keep everything real as much as we can. Unlike Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast, since they are the imperial brother of the media, it's all propaganda, and you should not believe anything that the Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast says. So thank you so much for being here, and it's great to have you. We have a lot of things to talk about. So let me remind you about our format that we created, since we are teachers and leaders in this industry. And Damien, sell stuff. Yeah. And but I mean, sales is like teaching if you really want to think about it. Yeah. So in a way. Yeah. So what we do is we're going to recap the episode. We're going to talk about our top moments. We're going to talk about our list of grievances, which is our lowest of moments. Things that we noticed. Sometimes we all hit the same thing. Sometimes we don't. We'll do somewhat of a prediction. Obviously not for episode 1 to episode 2, or part 1 to part 2, but we'll go part 2 to part 3. And we'll end with some fun stuff. So hello, Dragon Buddy. Welcome on out. Thank you for being here, DB. You did a great job on your stream the other day playing some Battlefront 2. Speaking of games, another commercial and promotion, the Red 5 Network Gaming Initiative has started and is continuing. I will be live tomorrow on the Red 5 Network gaming channels, both on YouTube and Twitch. And we're going to be playing some party games. We're going to play some Jackbox party games and possibly do some marble games. So if you're interested in joining in on that, there's actually audience participation. You can join in through a website, sort of like a Kahoot in a way, except it's dirtier, much, 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 much dirtier and darker.
Ooh.
And darker. So like a chicken thigh. So it's
so delicious
stuff. It's good stuff. Yes. So like I said, we are really going to jump right into it just because we have a lot to discuss. I want to start off with pulling up this. Where is it? Overall impressions.
Overall impressions.
I got to really recut that. Anyway, the overall impressions for today. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to overlay the chat just for now as I'm doing these graphics. That way, if chats are coming up, we can see them, and I don't have to go through 2 tabs there. And of course, gentlemen, if you call out or if you see a chat, feel free to add one in as you see. So we're highly interactive here, and we're highly attractive. So thank you for being here. It's great. My overall impression of the first episode, I just wrote down a very simple sentence: hanging on to every moment. What an opening. Hanging on to every moment. Damien, what about your overall impression of episode 1?
Yeah, I mean, definitely sets the stage and sets the table for what's going to happen over the next couple episodes. At first, I was a little nervous because we know Obi-Wan's making it out alive. We know Luke and Leia are making it out alive, but we're being introduced to all these other characters. Some of them aren't making it out alive, so it's very interesting and definitely very suspenseful. So, yeah, I'm really excited based off that first episode, which was nice and lengthy. Thank you, Disney. Yes, awesome.
Indeed. Mike, overall impressions of episode 1, please.
I thought this was a very slow burning type of episode, but in a good way, where I think back to book and the Book of Boba Fett, and every setup episode they had, and where they had to introduce a lot of stuff, everything missed the mark. I felt like everything that was set up in this episode, we always talked about this, that there was like no stakes with Book of Boba Fett. Like everything that they set up in this episode felt like there was a lot more stakes, a lot more, like high risk to everything that was being set up. So for one, I'm not a huge fan of a slow burn. I'm like, I only know one speed, and that's go. But I really enjoyed this setup for the series episode.
Cool. I love it. I totally forgot to read the introduction, which I had bookmarked right at the top there and didn't do it. And I also forgot to talk about the poll. So if you remember from last week, I gotta go backwards because my brain will not allow me to move forward without going backwards, because that's exactly how OCD works with finding every secret in a game. Like I've been trying to find every treasure in Resident Evil Village. I put out a poll 12 hours ago, probably more than 12 hours ago, and I just said, hey, Kenobi Part 3 drops tomorrow, and our live discussion happens tonight with the first 2 episodes already out. Where do your expectations stand? So choice 1 was better than I thought, about where I thought, or worse than I thought. So with 23... Cool, can I do this? Hold on.
Oh, you can. You can do
yes,
it.
I can. With 23 or 25 votes, 52% are at better than I thought. The other is at about where I thought. Nobody voted for worse. And I think that's pretty accurate from what I'm, catching and gathering from the interwebs and just general discussion. So yes, good stuff there. I'm not going to read the intro, but the intro just explains who we are, and I didn't do that at all. So you know who we are. We're going to keep on moving on. So let's move on, friends, to our
episode recap.
I get really jittery audio. So from on the chat perspective, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, could you just let me know if that video was smooth or if it was hot trash? Thank you very much. So The episode recap starts with this. The recap is essential. The recap is essential. I won't really go into it, but it says whoever had to cut that together was just a beautiful person, and I love them. The Order 66 scene was amazing. That's the second time we've seen a live action Order 66 scene, which was awesome. It goes immediately into 10 years later. This is going to be real quick on the recap. I'm going to miss some stuff. We'll fix it later. Inquisitors land. Right off the bat, we know Reva is a troublemaker. We know it. Right off the bat, they've established it. They're looking for Jedi, obviously. We cut to Kenobi being a whale butcher, which is really, really interesting, being in the desert. Kenobi to his cave with some proximity sensors, which I thought was cool. He speaks to the Jawa Tika, which I thought was a fun little conversation. He's been there for 10 years. They can just chat with each other. They're friends. They're besties. I think it's nighttime at that point. He sort of tries to talk to Qui-Gon. It doesn't quite go well, or maybe he's never been able to establish it. We're not sure. The next morning, he leaves the T-16 toy at the Lars residence. We learn of Nari, the Jedi, who somehow tracks him down. One of the probably great line from the episode is what Obi pronounces, is that the time for the Jedi is over, which of course is almost a direct quote. It's a plagiarized quote from Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Shout out to Scarif Scuttlebutt for his love of The Last Jedi. It's not true. It then, like, at that point, we got a lot of Kenobi, and all of a sudden, we're in Alderaan. And I'm getting like butterflies going, wait a second. I did not kind of anticipate this. For me personally, we got this Leia dressing music scene. We've got Breya. We already know she's a troublemaker. And it kind of goes into that sort of like, it was just such a shift. Like we go from hardened desert to like fancy stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool. We got a conflict between Owen and Ben, and we got the line of the day. And then I'm sure, Mike, you'll talk about the trailer and how much they haven't showed us so far. Like all the stuff has been really just from episode 1 and 2, nothing from 3, and et cetera, et cetera. We learn that Reva is a loose cannon and cuts off the hand of Space Karen. Sorry, Karen, your hand has been cut off. That's what you get for complaining. It establishes a Reva obsession with Kenobi. We zoom on back to the Alderaan party. Their cousins are talking. We see a brief glimpse of C-3PO, which is cool. And then the big line, I'm not even a real Organa. We'll talk about that line a little bit later. Moving on to the Leia terrible chase scene, or if you liked it, that's cool. You're in the minority. Bail and Breya ask for Obi-Wan specifically. Some time has passed, obviously, since that communicator has gone off. The line of she's as important as he is super interesting. The next scene, Nari is strung up. Bail personally comes to Tatooine, which I thought was really dynamic. You couldn't save Anakin, but you can save her. A lot of great lines in this episode. Vect is a great bad guy. That's what I just put down. He's a great bad guy. And then it ends with Kenobi in full uniform heading to the transport ship. So that is sort of the quick recap. Again, if I missed anything, we'll fill it in as we go. I take all my notes in this very large notebook, and by large notebook, I mean it's a very tiny notebook. So that's just what it is. Any details I missed from the recap? Mike, did you catch anything?
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head for every single thing that I have written down.
Okay, appreciate that. Damien's ingredients. All right, so that's good stuff. So let's just check in on chat right now because we've got a lot of activity. Hector, welcome on in. Hector Lauren, appreciate you. Luna says smooth and snazzy. Appreciate that. Smooth as a baby's arse. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Take a drink for The Last Jedi. Rose's gonna be mad. Alderaan was beautiful. Agreed. Space Karen had it coming. Yeah, you gotta watch out, Space Karen. We're not in the mood for you.
You can't ask to see the Inquisitor's managers. I'm sorry.
You can't. You really can't. Exactly. And yeah, so we are going to now move into our top threes.
Top threes.
I went through
Hey, Top Gun Maverick apparently is really good.
I was just going to say I need to see
I've
that.
I've heard that too. And tomorrow
Yeah.
is Top Gun night at the Philadelphia Phillies game. Miles Teller is going to be there.
Wow, I
And
bet
the-
you they're all going to
and the
crash.
bobblehead.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Giveaways the Miles Teller bobblehead.
I mean, Miles Teller might be the only one there based off of how they've been playing, but
Lord, I don't want to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies. They are just. I'd rather talk about Baltimore for sure. Anyways, welcome on in. Nahuel, Mr. V. I appreciate you being in here. I think you're a first-time chatter. You've never been into our live chat, so I appreciate you being here. Ro, take care of that. Appreciate you. All right, so for top 3, I'm going to start off with the recap because I was so nostalgic with that recap. And of course, it's all the things we've already seen before, but they established some really nice connections. And not like, once again, they have to make a show that anybody can pick up and watch, right? So they need to establish these little weird connections, between Anakin and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And, I think one of the big, they were very deliberate with what they included and what they didn't include. And, they included all our major parts. But then, with the Yoda and, training I have for you, into Tatooine and stuff like that, I think that, there's going to be a commune with Force Ghost Qui-Gon. There has to be, because eventually he does turn into a Force Ghost. So there's going to be somewhat of a way that they communicate and make that happen. I just don't think it's happened for 10 years. I don't think it's happened, and I think it's frustrating him. And I think, he's also cut himself off from the Force, which again is not very different from what our boy Lukey did in The Last Jedi. Again, another Last Jedi discourse for you. Did you have the recap? Any Dame, did you have the recap?
that was my number 3 too. Because you know what, like a lot of people always trash the prequels and they say they're too political, they don't like them, but this kind of really made them important, especially for Kenobi's story. So just that recap of, like you said, everything we've seen before, I still appreciated it, and it made me kind of just give me like a quick like cliff notes like refresher before we get into Kenobi. So that was my number 3.
Good, Mike.
I never write mine in order. I just write a top 3 in no particular order. And the recap was one of my top 3 as well, especially because I was watching the recap of all the prequels, and I said out loud as I was watching it, I said, did I enjoy the prequels?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I enjoyed it in that 9-minute recap.
Yeah, and I also enjoyed how it led. It almost, the way Kenobi Obi-Wan started was almost like one of the like a main trilogy movie where it started off where you just see a plane flying overhead, and it also started with the In a Galaxy Far, Far.
Yeah, it sure did. Didn't it?
It was great.
Sure did.
And it led right into that Order 66 shot, which I believe was a long take when they were following the younglings.
I think so too.
And I, for one, love a long take.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Huge. Yes, indeed. Yes. Another, not to, again, we got 2 episodes to go through, so I'm pushing. We're going to push here. This may not resonate with everybody here, but being a Rebels fan and being a Fallen Order fan, I loved the Inquisitors IRL in real life. Okay, the design of them, some of them may be stiff, whatever, doesn't matter. Grand Inquisitor is not exactly the same person we see in Rebels, personality-wise. That's no problem. That's fine. Third sister, we actually theorized, I think, Mike, that she wasn't even a sister at that point. And we were immediately wrong. And that's okay. I mean, that's not going to be the first time we're wrong. But she's third sister. I don't really know how the rankings work. I forget. But just seeing them, in real life, they all look like Vader, in their little outfits, their little costumes there. And I just think the design of them are just so solid. And so far, I think we know of 4 of them through 2 episodes. And we know there's nine sisters or something like that with it or whatever. I mean, at least in Fallen Order, we have a 9th sister. So I'm just going to guess that we do. But did any of you have the Inquisitors down, or do you have something different?
That was that's on my list too.
Listen, boys.
That was my one actually. Just to see, I love when we can see animated characters realized in live action. And I know that when the trailer dropped, people were complaining about Grand Inquisitor. Like nobody has the jaw structure of that in real life. So you have to suspend disbelief a little bit. We're also talking about fictional characters, but it was really cool to see the Inquisitors like in live action. So I really appreciated that. That was my number one. So I just thought it was really cool. Just like when we saw Ahsoka, like that was awesome. So yep, that was on my top 3.
Yeah, I had pegged the Grand Inquisitor as Zordon, right,
yeah,
right at the trailer. I was like, "Whoa, Grand Inquisitor Zordon is here to give the magic coins to the teenagers." I can't wait for that. Mike, what about you? Did you have Inquisitors down? I think you did, though, right?
I also had the Inquisitor. One of my top 3 in no order.
Wow.
I feel like every show that we like talk about, I always find myself drawn towards Star Wars is doing female characters amazing.
Yep.
I don't know why Reva is getting all the hate that she is. She is amazing. She is ruthless. She does not care. She just wants to get what she wants and everybody be damned. I am interested in figuring out what she is owed.
Yeah.
And I even enjoy the Grand Inquisitor. Like him in his monologue walking around the bar, I was on the edge of my seat listening to every single word he was saying. I think the way that they did the Inquisitors in the first episode was phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the dialogue, I couldn't even I watched this several times, and I always watch it with subtitles on because I am I'm not worried about that cinematic scene, but I'm worried about what they're saying and how they're saying it and stuff like that. So I probably missed some things, but yeah, no, it's just a really cool look at the Inquisitor, and there's I guess we'll talk about more inquisiting things a little bit later. Okay, my third was everything Alderaan and Leia. Everything Alderaan and Leia. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We didn't even talk about what our top 3 were, and they're literally all the same thing.
I just wrote Happy Organa Family.
Oh my god, that's incredible. That's incredible. What a difference, because you got Luke playing with sand.
Yeah.
And then you have the Jetsons.
I wrote that down too. I was like, did they ever talk about that later in life? Or it was like, I was on a moisture farm. Oh, I was in the lap of luxury.
Yes. I threw out 5 oranges today just because I wanted to.
It's like the Bale was like, I will adopt the daughter. And then they're like, oh shit, we need to give Luke to somebody. Let's put him on a sand farm.
He was picked last in dodgeball. Oh my god, that is so funny. All right. Any other tops that you have that you would like to chat about before we move on to our list of grievances?
Dragon Buddy, he mentioned something awesome. Okay. That the scene with Bale and Leia. Jimmy Smits gives off that BDE, that big dad energy, and I love it so much. And that conversation between him and Leia was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I saw, not my idea, of course, but saw it on Twitter. Someone made a good connection. I hate to do this. I hate to do this to everybody, but I have to. A great connection to acknowledging that you don't have a family. And that's a big theme with our girl Rey in the sequel trilogy, right? So Leia having that experience at 10, she knows how that feels. So there is probably something to be said there, connection-wise. Again, not my idea. I wish I could take credit for it, but I won't. I will, secretly. Lola's great as well. Very good, Luna. Appreciate that. Yes, she was well, and it's amazing. Like Lola appeared, and then bang, next day HasLab has it. What? Incredible merchandising! I can't believe it. That and that was also a tender moment for everybody's wallet to have Lola available for purchase the next day. Okay. Batteries, yeah, batteries not included. Exactly. All right, let's keep on going here. We gave you our tops of the episode. Let's get to the bottoms.
Next up, our list of grievances.
General Kenobi.
It couldn't be more perfect now that it's General Kenobi that we're talking about Kenobi. We've had before. We did it. We did it. All right, let's get right after the chase scene.
Oh my god.
And the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is long. This is too long. This is way too long. Wow, they're really dumb. Okay, that's fine. But you know what? I'll give Nicole in over at Rogue One Radio some credit. I was listening into some of their discourse over there. And she likened it to like Macaulay Culkin running away in Home Alone. And I can get down with that.
Okay.
I can get down with that,
Yeah.
because it's weird, it's silly. It realistically in your brain that doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense. But for a kids show, and here, let me bring in the kids here because for the first time ever, it's a proud dad moment. I got up, watched it. And then, it was all on my screen, and my daughter Kate said, "What are you watching?" I said, "Kenobi. It's a new show." She said, "Can I watch it too?" And I went, "Sure can. Let me get my notebook. I'm gonna take notes now." And she was locked into that chase scene, right? And to the adult, stupid. Doesn't make sense. They should have caught her almost immediately. They could have threw a stick at her leg, and it would have been fine. But to a little kid who's 4, she's 4 turning 5. Seeing a little girl running away from bad guys and getting away, it built up a certain amount of suspense, which I thought it was good. When you think of it, when you look at the perspective like that, I thought that was fine. But otherwise, I did find a TikTok. There was already TikToks being made, and it's the Leia chase scene, and she's sliding. And then it cuts to the scene in Jason Bourne, and it just says, "Point of view, Inquisitors," and it goes, Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne. And I lost my mind because I just laughed so hard at that. It's absolutely great. Anyways, now that I brought it down and brought it back to normal, what else can you say about the chase scene, if you have anything to say, Mike?
So, first off, now I realize that it's just irresponsible of Disney and Star Wars to make 10-year-old girls believe that they can outrun mercenaries.
It's a fair point.
And then, I get annoyed at these things like, oh, mercenaries don't know how trees work.
Right now,
they're like, oh, there's a tree here. Let me go 20 feet out of the way. Oh, there's a tree there. I'm going to climb this hill and somehow still catch up to her later. And oh no, she slid under another tree, and now I have to go.
How did she do that?
Jesus Christ, she's Jason Bourne. That's how she did it. They were spice heads, not meth heads.
Get it right. That's that propaganda from the Empire again. They can't even see. They rake off the top of spice sales, so he threw in a little meth there just to put a little fakery on it. Hey, Steve, how are you? Good, Dame.
I guess you could say they were red hot chili heads.
Thank you. I had it ready.
One last thing. That was a great slide by Leia.
Huge slide.
That was great.
That's Fortnite levels. Hit and shift while you're sprinting down the hill is actually an incredible slide. I'll give her a lot of credit. And I wonder who makes the fabric, because not one rip. I rip my baseball pants every single season first slide. she Alderanian fabrics.
It's that rich people do it too.
It's that rich fabric.
Your baseball pants were made of Alderaan materials.
Correct. Okay. All right, let's move it to Dames. All right, so we talked about the Leia chase scene. We have to go on it anymore. It's fun, it's silly, and it unfortunately exists for 3 minutes long, and we'll never get that back. What else? Do you have any bottoms names?
Yeah. So that was one of them. Another one was Owen.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
like, I get the protective, it's my responsibility to look after this kid thing, but he was just like really coming at Kenobi, and we saw it in the trailer, like just coming crazy. Like I was like, come on, man, like this guy's been through so much, and now you're just like piling it on with how much he sucks about training people and everything else. So like that kind of bugged me.
This is huge.
But he's, Joel's amazing. It was really cool to see him back as Owen. So that was one of my bottoms, just his personality.
That's
acting. The acting's tremendous.
That's blowing me away because I thought it was appropriate just because he's such a gruffy person in A New Hope.
Yeah, that's true too.
And maybe we're not, he's leaving him toys, he's leaving him this, but Owen's like, listen, I saw my brother-in-law kill a bunch of people because he was sad. So maybe he's like, I don't want any part of this. I'm not interested. You gave me this kid. That's it. Get out of here. So like, I don't know, I can understand that just based off of lore, but I love that it's a bottom. We're creating great conflict and content right now. Make sure you go follow Casa de Dupree for all the great content. There's more of this over there.
All the Owen trashing content.
You'll never believe what he says next. Mike, do you have any bombs for us on the bottom scale?
So I have an Owen-esque bottom.
Okay.
It's not nothing to do with Owen. I am mad that they used when he comes of age, he must be trained like you trained his father line.
Yeah.
I'm mad that they used that in the trailer. That's a bottom for me because that would have hit so much harder if we did not know it was coming. It
would have hit so much harder. You're 100% right.
Like I would have stood up and been like, damn.
Yeah, like in the trailer, it should have said, when he must be trained, and it could have just been a look.
Mm-hmm.
No lines or at all, and then in the show, like you trained his father. Oh, that's exactly how I would have reacted.
Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily an Owen bottom for me, but more of a
producer, like something. I just either way, for them putting that in the trailer, I think someone's owing us an apology.
There we go. That's perfect. Well done. Okay. It's funny you mentioned that, Steve. When is the Mandalorian going to show up? It is plausible.
It is. Yeah.
It's very plausible that he could be seen as a background character, and I'm for it. I'd love to see it. Kenobi, they're obviously on the run, as we're going to get to episode 2 soon. There's no reason why we don't see Razor Crest. I'd love to see the Razor Crest, right? Because then they can sell the HasLab one because it's in a current show again. they can sell it again.
Are there any episodes directed by Bryce Dallas Howard?
I think it's all Deborah Chow.
No, I don't think it's all Deborah.
Okay.
Thank Lord, by the way, that it's just a singularity. She's doing a great job so far.
Yep.
The other bottom I had was just Reva's super aggressive attitude, from the start, and I liked the whole knife. She knew that was going to draw it out, but then she just got more aggressive throughout the episode. And again, based off of my head canon of the Grand Inquisitor, who's like a badass. I didn't like him getting talked back to because it didn't make sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
So for me, we were trying to figure out where does Reva stand in the priority list, and she's obviously not very liked.
I think she's third.
Third from the bottom or from the top?
Because she's the third sister. She's third in the pecking order of I don't know which direction.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is why is she getting trashed upon. But then, we start to get into her story a little bit about the obsession with Kenobi and things of that nature. And then it starts to make sense and whatever. But I don't know, just like when I wrote these notes, because I try to write these notes fresh, and of course your perspectives change with more watches. I was just like, man, I don't like her. I don't like her just because I think she's scary and I think she's aggressive. And that means she's a loose cannon, which means that like really anything's on the table that could happen. But at the same time, she's never mentioned again in canon, so we don't really know what happens to her.
A lot of stalking going on in this episode.
That's lots of stalking. Indeed. Dane, back to you if you have any bottoms.
Nah, that was really it, man. I mean, this was just I went into this with like, after watching Book of Boba Fett, like those expectations, and then it just like was all the way up here and so enjoyable. So I mean, I didn't have anything else to complain about.
Fair. Mike?
I have one other random bottom, and I feel like this happens at least one an episode in everything that we've watched. There's always just a random bad CGI moment. And it happened very early on with the shadow of the ship that held the Inquisitors.
Too big?
No, it just like it looked crazy fake, and I was like, "This is bad." It looked like it looked like the shadow from Ghost of Patrick Swayze coming to take someone to the ghost world. I don't know the premise of that movie. I just know that there are terrible shadows that are ghosts that take them to the ghost place.
Oh, man.
I don't care how many times you've talked about Kenobi with your friends. Not one time did you mention the Inquisitor's ship shadow being a little off. You're seeing this exclusive content right now on the Extra Star Wars YouTube channel.
To spend all this money on Inquisitor makeup, make your shadows look real. Come on.
What's interesting about the ship is
it looks exactly like the Millennium Falcon.
No, that's not
the shadow at least. The shadow. Look at the shadow.
Okay, I'll review it. It is it is hard for toy makers to create product that has already been created. TIE fighters, for example, X-Wings, for example, Y-Wings, blah, 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 blah. So with every new show, we get some sort of new vehicle, right? Razor Crest, great vehicle. N1 Wizard Starfighter, awesome, nostalgic. It's shipped, by the way. It's on my way to the house. Very excited.
Nice.
This Inquisitor ship is just Krennic's ship, but not as big. So if you remember Krennic's ship from Rogue One, it's black. It looks like an Imperial shuttle, and it has. I have Krennic's ship, and then I looked at the Inquisitor ship, and I went, it's just the same. But I'm okay with it because it fits the brand of the Empire. Then fast forward lots of years. And it's similar to the command shuttle of the First Order. In overall design. Not as pointy, but, in function. So they are staying on brand whilst also making me pay money to build a toy. Good job. That's what I have to say about that. Indeed.
That was a quick right turn.
Yeah, well, that's which we're actually going to round the jug handle and back into our agenda. Any final bottom moments before we go into our noticements? 3, 2, 1.
Time for the noticements.
It gave me just enough time to choke on the water that I just drank. So it went down a little too hard. I didn't really notice too much. Everybody noticed the T-16 toy, but I wouldn't even file that under a Leonardo DiCaprio meme gif because it's not an Easter egg I care about.
Okay.
I think it's a shoehorned detail. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But they're like, all right, what can we take from A New Hope and put in this show that people will easily identify The T16 thing, you know, and it's like, all right, well, Luke's obviously awesome because he kept that toy for 9 years. But when does he get it back? Because obviously he doesn't have it right now. So drama with the T16 toy and whatever. So that's really the only thing I noticed. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you noticed, Mike.
Did you notice that in this podcast we have very rarely talked about Obi-Wan Kenobi?
That one time. Oh, shoot. We did
But
it.
Here's the thing. I will say this about that. We didn't. I when the episode started, I thought we were going Boba Fett style because I was like, "Where's Obi-Wan? Where's Obi-Wan? Where's Obi-Wan?" He showed up at the 12th minute, and then he was in pretty much the rest of the episode.
Yeah. I gotcha.
But I still didn't feel the same way I felt about Boba, where Boba was there, but he wasn't really there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you still felt Kenobi's presence.
I felt he carried first off, I just felt like he carried. I didn't see a difference between the recap of the prequels and where he started outside of him being 10 years later.
Yeah.
Like I made the connection. I don't need to build anything else. I am believing that he is exactly what I'm seeing, and it's all lining up for me. So for me,
you knew where. I'm sorry.
Exactly. The critical nature goes away at that point. I don't have to look at him anymore and analyze it because I'm just like, he's doing exactly what he needs to do.
You knew where he stood. You knew what his life was like. They didn't need to explain it anymore. That's why I thought it was very, very well done that they set up every other piece very nicely.
Yes.
Without having to focus so much on Kenobi.
Yeah, we get it. He's got a daily grind at the whale shop. You know, he spends time watching over. He goes to bed. He has nightmares. Repeat. 3,650 days. Same thing.
Yep.
You know, assuming the same gravitational pull and timing of the two suns. Anything else you noticed, Mike?
So speaking of the whale, I thought there was going to be some more of a significance to the little piece of salmon whale that he took.
Yeah.
Because they focused in on that shot every time he took and folded it up. I thought there was going to be more to it than that, but no, he just feeds it to his camel thing.
EOP or whatever it is.
Yeah, EOP. PPOP.
Is it the same one? Is it? It's just missing a Y, honestly. It's got all the other vowels.
Yeah.
And a U, maybe?
Yeah,
good names.
How did they transport that? Like that thing is massive.
It looks just delicious.
It just plopped there. Yeah, the chunks of meat. I'm like, what market are they going to? I mean,
I think it just showed up. And the question would be is like, was it fresh?
Yeah, how do you keep it from rotting and stuff? That scene was pretty cool to me, just to see Obi-Wan having like a normal person's job, or like I guess technically a peasant. She's doing like heavy labor and hard stuff, but probably not getting paid much. But yeah, just for me, like I was looking at that, and as soon as I saw it, I noticed something like that's way too big. Like, how did it get there? And also, how does it stay fresh?
Right.
As Lunar Girl actually just commented about, like it's just sitting out there in the desert.
How they preserve it in the sand. It's all old.
It's cold at night. I think we can suspend this belief that it is. The Jawas have a refrigerator. I don't know.
And I think this was episode 1 when we have Bail talking to Leia. There's like a little callback to Amidala, or Padme. So I had the quote written down, and he says, "You just remind me of someone. She was fearless too and stubborn. She was a leader."
Yeah,
and he's saying that to her.
Yeah,
obviously referencing.
That was episode.
That was episode 2.
Was it 2? Damn,
you son of a bitch!
You're fired.
And that's the end of our live show. It was going great. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We're having a tremendous viewer drop off because of that heinous mistake. But no, we will. If it's okay with you, we will circle back to that because I wrote down almost the same thing.
Okay,
which is wonderful. So we'll definitely circle back. All right. Any other noticements, Dames, from you other than things from episode 2?
Nope. Basically just me watching both episodes back to back and pretending they're one giant episode. So there's a noticement on my behalf.
I did appreciate that there was a break You know what I mean? And like part 1 ended, and then just part 2 sort of just picked up, and then that's fine. So that's good stuff. Mike, any final things before we're gonna push this along?
I thought that that Nari, that scene in the desert at night, I thought that was going to be a Tusken Raider.
So did I.
It was, they were setting it up, like the way the camera was moving. I was like, ooh, Tuskens.
Kill. Kill.
Train.
Okay. All right. All right. If it's okay with everybody, for the sake of time, can we move on to our 1-sentence summaries?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Here we go.
It's now time for that 1-sentence summary.
Okay.
I'm prepared to redeem myself here.
Damien, you're going to lead us off then. You have to.
Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Obi wants to hang out with Luke, but Lars won't let it happen. That's all I got. I'm sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Thank you for putting that together. That's awesome. Mike, no song this time, but we have a statement.
I do have a statement, and it's more of a suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe that one mercenary should have taken a shit before trying to kidnap a 10-year-old.
You think he was pinching one?
Oh, his legs were wide. I don't know what that. I don't know what that was.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That's so funny. Good evening, everybody in the chat. Nicole, welcome on in. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are just going through our 1-sentence summary. Here is mine. Ben 10 is desolate, hopeless, and normal, but a VIP, very important princess, forces our hero to take action once again. Wizard in the sand.
Love that you just compliment your own
I did. This button just went off by itself. I don't understand.
It's got a mind of its own, guys.
I don't know what's going on here. It's just things are happening. So yeah, that is our 1-sentence summary. And as we finish up the episode, or part 1 recap. The layup buns looked great, by the way. The episode 1 recap. Mike, finish us off with your OnlyFans account. That sounded awesome.
Gross. Where's my intro?
Oh shoot! Sorry. Here it is.
So if you,
I forgot about the intro.
Mike, finish us off. What?
Damn. I'll fix that for the second part.
So for this week, I'm not really active on my socials, but I am active on my OnlyFans. This week, it's OnlyFans / we're gonna get this D.
There are kids in this chat. No, there's not. No, there's not at all. So yes, thank you, Mike. That was beautiful, beautifully stated. Honestly, probably to be in church for sure.
Always. Wait till you hear the next one.
Oh gosh, oh god, I am very, 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 very. Did I do notice it? Hold on, raw impressions. No, I did everything. Okay, good. All right, so what we're gonna do, just for the sake of breaking it up, I'm gonna play our intro into episode 2 one more time, just to give us a little bit of a talking break. And if you missed our wonderful intro the first time around, you're going to see it this time around as we get ready to talk about part 2. Talking Kenobi Part 2, everyone. Quick little commercial. Don't forget to follow Extra Star Wars on the YouTube, on the Insta, on the TikTok. Don't forget to follow Casa de Dupree. That's Damien's channel. Make sure you check that out. Did you hit 500? You did hit 500 subscribers, right? Recently?
Yep.
Yes. Now we can post things to YouTube. The Extra Techie channel is at stuck stalemated at 418 right now, and I don't know what to do, to be honest with you. We're just gonna do nothing and maybe come up with a tutorial. But hey, if you're interested in celebration and want to see my top 10 moments, make sure you go check that out. The Red 5 network is a wonderful network to be a part of if you would like to be accepted. Even if you make poor content like we are doing right now, they will come out and chat and make us feel really good about what we're talking about. Thank you so much for the feedback on the intro. I put it together tonight.
So
my
good.
daughter was the actor, and since I said, hey, do you want to make a video? And she's like, hell yeah, I want to make a video. Didn't say that, but she was like, yes. And we did the whole thing, and the person who held me up, not the 4-year-old, but the 30-plus-year-old who would not send me his photo until 9:27 p.m. Who was that? No one to volunteer? Exactly. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your photos and the thumbnail and just putting you through the torment of the Extra Star Wars podcast. So we move into hell yeah, was inferred. Totally agree with you. We move into part 2 since this is a 2-part episode. We're 52 minutes in, and that does not bode well. I am super nervous about getting to the 11 o'clock hour right now, but
it's a shorter episode though.
We're doing okay. It is a shorter episode, and we're going to get right into our overall impressions.
Overall impressions.
You had to listen to it twice, and you're going to have to listen to everything again. Here we go. I am so I wrote down, so intrigued by the Leia storyline and can't wait to see how Vader shakes out. That's what I wrote for overall impressions. Damien, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. And I like anytime we go to like kind of like criminal, gritty, like planets and areas in the Star Wars galaxy. So this episode was fun for me. And yeah, I mean, like you said, man, that cliffhanger, like, will we see them interact, Leia and Vader? Like, that's going to be insane. So really solid episode for a 41-minute episode. And that cliffhanger, or the ending scene was just awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Mike.
This episode, I think I told you I was on the edge of my seat the entire time because it was, Jesus Christ, this is Jason Bourne. Like, this was a top to bottom, like, nonstop hit you in the face episode, which I was all for because, as I said before, my only speed is go, and that's what I felt this episode is.
And they would say die go instead of die you, indeed. So I think right, going from, like you said, like, what I appreciate is we're already off Tatooine, right? And we talked about this in the prequel. The pre-show is like, all right, you only have 6 episodes, right? And we're gonna be 33% of the way through, and they got to start moving the storyline along pretty quickly, because eventually one episode has to get back to Tatooine. Right. So now we're off of it, and we're going to go on this little rabbit chase hunt, whatever happens. But let's do our episode recap.
Episode recap.
You can tell they're in a rush because there is no cold open to this episode. It just gets to it, and we get right into Dayu. He lands, he's talking to some people. Bang! Tamora Morrison makes a wonderful cameo as a clone veteran on Dayu. I loved that little detail. It makes so much sense. He's still trying to talk with Qui-Gon, right? So he's still like having that one-way conversation. We learn of Jedi Haja, played by, I always forget his name, but he's a great actor. What's his name?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Okay,
that's right.
And I think he's playing the same part every single time. He's certainly a stereotypical actor in terms of what he plays. He's Kumar. That's just who he is, and he'll never be able to do anything differently. But
I think they were like, "Hey, if you're in Eternals, like we'll give you a part in Star Wars. Don't worry about it."
Wait, can
oh my god, that's just a dig.
Time out. Can I? Did you just Zoe Saldana us again?
I don't know.
Oh
Did
no!
you just call him Kumar?
Well, from Harold and Kumar,
Oh,
right?
he was
That's
not
Cal Penn.
Kumar. That's Cal Penn.
Oh man.
You just Zoe Saldana Rosario Dawson us again.
All right, whatever. I'm gonna move on. I don't care.
He was in Silicon Valley.
That's always been it. I know he's in Silicon Valley, but that was his first major show.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And then he did. What the hell was that movie with?
I'm a bad person.
The true story about him and his wife. It was an Amazon movie. I think it was nominated.
Takes place in the forest. That makes sense.
It does.
All right, so obviously
Broke Sick Love.
Brokeback Mountain. Got it.
Brokeback Love.
So clearly this is an identity crisis with me, and I don't know people and actors in movies, which is why I often go to my IMDb. That's the Internet Mateo database, and he knows everything. So thank you very much for anyway. Haja plays Trix, which is right on brand with him. Did I say that right at least? I think that is on brand with him for sure, right?
Wait, let's go. It's allowed. You got it.
Look, Obi figures out a way to get into the drug place, right? He's sort of staking it out. He's getting into that investigative. He did a lot of this. He did a lot of this episode, which brought me back to like the attack of the clones. Where he's thinking a lot and he's doing his little detective work, which I thought was cool. He obviously has to cause a distraction in Heisenberg's lair, and make his way into wherever he needs to make it. Finds Leia. It's not Leia. The trick is sprung. We get Vect, and he's back, which is wonderful. No one's coming for you. He's a great villain. Oh man, all of his lines are awesome. Reva shows up. Move. I'm going to show you my lightsaber, but I'm not really a great Inquisitor. I only have half of an Inquisitor saber. The Grand Inquisitor shows up. You are the least of us. See, that's where I'm confused with the numbering system. He says you are the least of us. You came from the gutter. What? Like Reva's getting crapped on right now, literally. So she's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to send a bounty after him right now. We're going to make this happen, which kind of reminded me, now that I'm thinking of it, of when was it Grief puts the bounty back on Yoda, baby Grogu, right? And like everybody's after each other, and it's like it's a cool moment. Anywho's, let's see. Obi has a great conversation with Leia. Now, Damien, we can talk about the conversation. But yes, that's at this point they have that great conversation with the mention of Padme. She was stubborn. I'm not stubborn. Yes, you are, which I thought was great. The Inquisitors find out about the bounty. Leia runs part 2. They are on the rooftops now, very Matrix-like, which I thought was cool. There's a shootout with Jurassic World Dominion. Yeah, Reva all of a sudden becomes parkour champion of Dayu. Leia falls. Sort of into. Okay, so secretly, I thought she was going to make the jump. I thought she was going to manifest her force powers at that time due to desperation. But she did not believe that there was no spoon. And Obi's got to do his thing, after having a lot of conversation about, you're not a Jedi. I don't even know who you are. You're hiding something, bang, he has to come out. I thought the people in like the alleyway would have been more surprised that the child didn't fall to her death, that was caught by a mysterious something or other. But they were just like, huh, she seems okay. If you look at the subtitles, there's literally one that says, she seems okay. Anyways. Let's see. You are a Jedi. Many Inquisitors were Jedi turned bad. That's probably going to come back later. Haja helps. He's trying to make amends. I thought that was fun. Reva can read minds like Kylo Ren. kind of cool. Also very aggressive. They make it to the cargo center. Reva is not far behind. Leia runs. Reva reveals Anakin is still alive. This was a big conversation on the internet of, wow, how could she know this? How could she know this? How could she know this and Obi not know? And that's where I was like, damn, he didn't even know. And then I started going through my catalog and going, should he know? Would he know? Did he cut himself off? Like, I'm going through that conversation in my head. No, I'm okay with this, the direction of it, because, the face, well, we'll get to that. So the Grand Inquisitor shows up and is felled, allegedly, but if you watch Rebels, you know that can't be true. So again, the argument of the Grand Inquisitor going down for me is that they have to assume this is the first time people are being introduced to these characters. So him being felled is more of like a dramatic story turn versus a canonical retcon. And then we just get to, which the PTSD into Anakin, watched it over and over again. Hey, go back 30 seconds. Go back 30 seconds. I just watched it over and over again. Shut up, Google. Hey, Google, stop it. It's the only girl that talks to me in the house. Anyways, so, that's the episode recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't think I missed anything. Mike, check the judges, please.
We're good to go.
Thank you. So Dragon Buddy says they did act like children falling in that alley is a thing.
Seriously.
Maybe. And that's why they were like, whoa.
This one seems okay. The others, not so much.
You should see the other guy. All right. We move on back to our top threes.
Our top threes.
All right, there, Dames. Why don't you lead us off here with one of your top moments?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Kumail showing up in the show was just fun. He brought like a little bit of lightheartedness, a little bit of comedy, and he always crushes everything he does. Like even in Eternals, I found him like to be very enjoyable, despite the rest of the movie. So he was one of my tops. I love how he's trying to distract like Reva, like, oh no, I'm a Jedi, and she's just like, yeah, no, like you're not. So I really like that the cameo from him in this episode. That was awesome.
Good stuff. Mike?
To add on, I'm looking forward to seeing what if Haja is his name?
Yeah.
If he has any more to do with the story going on, because I'm interested to see that arc where it's like I'm a fake Jedi tricking all these people, but I also did. It's kind of Han Solo-y.
Oh, it's scammy for sure. Yeah, it's scammy, but at the same time, he's like, do I like credits? Yes. Do I feel bad about it?
Sometimes.
Yes. he's like, I loved it. I also had Haja in. Listen, 1 for 1, all around. I also had him in just for the sheer fact that it's a believable detail that somebody would fake being a Jedi. Mm-hmm. That is so believable. Mm-hmm. As just the other day, I had to unsubscribe my mother from a calendar on her iPhone that was sending her alerts that she had viruses. They were just calendar events. That's Haja, baby. Haja can fix that for 500 credits. You can fix that,
I kind of I almost kind of liken him to the fake Mandarin from the MCU. Like he plays the part and he's like, oh, I'm the Mandarin. He has all these TV commercials, and then obviously we see behind the scenes like he's just nothing. He's an actor.
He's the Wizard of Oz, baby.
So
behind the curtain.
I hope. Haja was awesome for sure.
Nice. My next top moment, if no one wants to talk about Haja anymore, was back to Dames, the Leia Padme moment, because I felt it in my bones, in my heart, that was just such a sincere moment. I felt sadness for Obi's. Leia's got no idea. But here's a kind of cool thing, and I hope this happens. There's a point in Return of the Jedi Jedi brain tricks, that she goes, you remember your mother? And she's like, yeah, I've got images. No, she doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't believe that actually at all. But she may, if Obi does something to help her remember. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's something to be said that this little show can kind of make that more plausible than suspending disbelief. For that. How could Luke not know and Leia know? And there's whatever. And whatever. So I really love that moment. Dane, what about you?
So another one for me was kind of like the Mando and Grogu dynamic, but with Leia and Kenobi, like that kind of like grizzled, like just grumpy almost like man, and then a child, and just them on an adventure. So
yeah,
I really like that dynamic a lot, and just kind of seeing more, because like everything that this series is doing just adds more weight to the "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope" that we get in A New Hope. And just seeing it unfold is pretty cool. I mean, we know what the end result's going to be for everybody, but to just see the backstory is cool.
Nicole is I have that book, Nicole, the Leia book. I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've read that, but Nicole says that in this book, the Princess of Alderaan, the Organas, did tell
cool.
Leia, which is kind of cool. What I'm going to do is, Mike and Damien, I got to take this phone call. Wife's calling me. I want you to continue with your top threes. Thank you.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, you're up.
I feel like that scene in Major League 2 where Bob Uecker is just hammered drunk and his Monty, I'm in the bag. Fly ball. Hot. But
so
I think we're 2 for 2 all around, because mine was just the Leia Obi-Wan dynamic and that roller coaster. It had such a great feel to it, because number one, this is exactly what saving a 10-year-old would be like. Just annoying the crap out of Obi-Wan, and they made it feel really organic.
Just pissed off the whole time. Like, come on.
Just annoying the crap out of him, and she's like being sarcastic. Like, you look old and beat up.
Which is what it like, because kids don't have filters. They just literally lay it out there. And I could absolutely just see, like, my daughter will say that. She'll be like, "Oh, you look tired." I'm like, "Thanks. Like, I love you too."
Don't touch that. Don't smell that. Don't do anything. But like, even the roller coaster of emotions, where it's going through trust, not trust. Oh, you saved me, to trust, and then ending with that moment of, you remind me of someone. She was fearless. I think you mentioned that in a previous episode. I'm not sure.
I think so. It might have came out. I'm not really sure, but yeah.
But now that you mentioned, I thought about the Grogu Mando comparison as well, and I'm wondering if that's going to hurt them. Like, do they always need that cute character to help carry the main character? Were they like, wow, we didn't have the cute character with Boba. Do we need to bring this back with Obi-Wan to make it more relatable, because Mando was so wildly successful?
That's true, man. I mean, it's definitely a good point, because I mean, at the end of the day, these shows are still appealing to kids, so obviously Grogu is just like a cute character, but for little kids to see like Leia just like dodging all these bad guys and doing all this stuff and surviving these big falls, like I mean, maybe Disney does feel like there needs to be that certain kind of formula for all these shows going forward. But yeah, it's definitely a good point. Like, for me, it's still a plus. It doesn't annoy me, but I could see if they keep like going back to the same formula with that stuff in future shows, like it could definitely get a little irritating.
And Dragon Buddy just wrote that there was supposedly a rewrite because it was too close to the Mando Grogu theme. Well, in my opinion, they didn't rewrite it that much. Like, it's still very close to that theme.
it's still pretty it's still pretty on the nose with that, but that's thanks for that, because I did not know that. So which means it was probably even like more heavily like in step with Mando and Grogu. That's kind of crazy.
I wonder if that is true, that there's the rewrite that like Leia, you don't see as much of Leia going forward. Like maybe they get back to Alderaan and then it's like all right, Leia's done for the series of Obi-Wan now. So I also don't understand all the hate this little girl is getting for playing Leia, because I think she's doing a phenomenal job.
So I'll get into that in our bottoms. Just my perspective on it, but I do think like, listen, child actors are always hard to work with because like they're just kids. They don't, they're just there and they're doing their lines, and some kids are just very like into it. And some other kids get very distracted, or some other kids like, might just be a little dry, and that's fine. Like, I'm not going to criticize a 10-year-old heavily, but yeah, I saw a lot of people talking about that. It was definitely like a little too much. I'm like, she's like 10 or 11 years old. Like, why are you a 30-year-old person like just I don't know, trashing this girl? So I don't know, man.
But like even saying that like, oh, Leia's not this witty, Leia's not this sarcastic. Did you watch any Star Wars ever?
Right. That is like that's at the core of Leia is sarcasm. Like,
yeah. I do not understand it. I don't understand all the hate.
It's just, and I hate to say it, but it does happen with everything, but like Star Wars fans like always find like some kind of way to just like not find joy in something sometimes. And I'm not saying that's all of us, but I do think there is a certain group out there that just feel the need to complain, and this is like case in point.
I mean, we literally have a list of grievances every episode.
Right, exactly. So we're right there with them. All right, so Sean had to step away, guys. So I guess we're just gonna keep on going until he comes back.
I still have another. I have another top. Do you have another top?
I got one more top. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's hear your top.
I mean, dude, Vader. Like, that's it. That was just cuts to him in the chamber. Oh my, it was just so good. And for me, like, you don't cast Hayden Christensen unless we're gonna see more of his face. Like, they're not just gonna have him in the helmet, in the suit the entire time. That's definitely gonna be a part of it. Mm-hmm. But I could really see a lot of us seeing him, a little more exposed, see facial expressions and things like that. And I really think that even just based off that one little scene we had of Vader so far, that this is like totally a redemption story for Hayden as an actor in Star Wars. Because I thought he did great in the prequels, but a lot of people just did not like it. And now that it's kind of aged over time, people have come around to it. But I truly think like we are going to get a brutal Vader, and Hayden's going to get that redemption that he, just has been looking for, I think, since the prequels.
I'll get into a prediction later, but that scene with Vader was just perfectly shot, especially after Reva was like, "Oh, you didn't know? He's alive."
Yep.
Anakin Skywalker's, and the look of sheer terror on Obi-Wan's face, and like he's shaking, there's tears in his eyes, didn't really know that he was alive. But bringing it back to what Sean was saying, like why wouldn't he know that he's alive? He locked himself in a cave in a desert for 10 years,
right?
Assuming and lost all contact with the world.
Yep.
So it makes perfect sense that he doesn't know that Vader is alive.
He left the guy like limbless and charred.
Yes.
Like, who would ever think anyone would come back from that?
He was a stump in lava. Like
he's log. He's log.
He's dark. He's heavy. He's Darth.
Toasty. Hey, thanks for accommodating. How do we do? Where are we at?
We are at our last of the
We were in
top threes.
silence the entire time.
Actually, we already did our one
embarrassing.
sentence summaries. We're ready to wrap and just go on to. No, we're all good, man.
Sean, we're ready for one sentence summaries.
All right,
Let's
we're in.
go.
Okay, that's great.
No,
Sounds like we're talking Vader.
yes.
Which was my last top, and Mike's as well.
I had the you and Anakin
Maybe.
dynamic is that I had to put down, so that's great.
I had
Maybe.
one more toppy top.
Go
Well,
ahead,
not the toppest of the top, but a top. Once again, loved Reva. Give me more Reva. She has not become my new Fennec, but I'm loving her so far in 2 episodes. Just she's so, I said it last episode, ruthless. Like she just doesn't care. She stabs the Grand Inquisitor. She drops the bomb on Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like I am interested to see how strong her force powers are. I'm interested to see what she can do, where her limits are, how strong she is. That like give me all of the ladies in the Star Wars series.
Yeah. That's a great refreshing perspective just based off of all the negative stuff that I've been reading.
Yep.
Which is just a shame because people stink.
People are garbage.
Yeah. Most people are great. But some people can't let go of boys club, as they would say. So yeah, no, like I said, I don't have any problem with Reva. She's it's super aggressive. It makes me uncomfortable how super aggressive she is, and I think that's great. Because again, I'm picturing the Grand Inquisitor as the top notch person. She's just like wham.
Yep.
Yeah, I did that.
And
who's in the gutter now?
The sign of a great acting job is them making you hate their character or petrified of their character. And she's doing exactly that.
And she was very nice at Star Wars Celebration.
Well, of course, like the nicest people, like Giancarlo Esposito, I always hear is like the biggest sweetheart in the world. And then here he is like trying to, take Grogu and just be completely merciless and everything else.
The bad guy in literally everything.
Yes. Yeah.
But he's the sweetest person in the world.
Right.
Indeed. All right. Any more tops you want to talk about before we move on?
No, I just gushed about that Vader scene for a good couple minutes.
And I enjoyed the Leia Obi-Wan dynamic.
Oh, love it. I love it. So we're all on the same page, as they would say. Okay, well, let's go into our list of grievances one more time.
Next up, our list of grievances.
General Kenobi.
I forgot how long that took me with all the animations. It was horrible.
So good too.
I want to do it again.
So
What's interesting is I was not a fan. So I almost wrote this. Look, I literally wrote the same stuff. I said the Leia chase scene. I don't like her running. Obviously Obi can't really use powers, and he can't really grab the girl because that would be attention seeking. But it's just like you just did it. We could have done something else to get her away. He could have been attacked by bounty hunter after bounty hunter, and she's just, I don't know. For me, it didn't hit well for me. The second thing, just again based off of Rebels discourse and canon, is the Inquisitor getting offed. I was like, wow, what is this? What is this nonsense? But that's me I'm thinking down the line. So again, that's probably I'm probably not the only person who thinks that, but and the third one again is just once again I was very, very intimidated by Reva. That's it. It's not even a bottom. I'm just nervous about her. I don't know if I would want to. I don't think I'd go up to her at a party and be like, "Hey, how? No, okay, got it. See ya. Got it." Dames, any bottoms here in this episode?
So while I do like Reva a lot as well, and Reba, great TV show, but the parkouring stuff just felt a little out of place for me.
Yeah,
it just like the Mighty Morphin Vespa Rangers that we had in Book of Boba Fett. Like it was just something that's like I know that like when you're strong with the Force, you can do that. Like you can leap without problems, but it felt a little out of place for me.
I did like the random first person point of view grabbing onto the gutter and then she like mini slides down. I thought as a directorial image
Is cool
based off of the introduction that I created. But I just thought I was like, oh, that was different. I mean, I'm in for that. I'm in for like the way, portraying it differently. I think the the flipping backwards like for no reason, and I did like the pushing objects and then running across them was very like Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep.
Like just like platforming in real life, which would they call parkour, by the way. I think you mentioned that just a few seconds ago.
Parkour.
I agree with you though in that realm. Mike?
I agree with that too. I can kind of see both sides of the parkour fence, where I put one of my bottoms is Reva channeling her inner Moon Knight. But now that like when Dame and I were talking about, I'm interested to see how strong Reva's powers are.
Yeah.
The scene now makes more sense because
true.
They wanted to show you how powerful she was with the Force.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
So, like, did we need it? Kinda.
Yeah.
Was it excessive?
100%.
Sometimes. Do I like credits? Yes.
Yes, they buy a lot of things. They buy a lot of things. I thought like, she's Batmaning right on top of the rooftops, and then she knows like it's gonna happen. She's just gotta wait her time. Then she sees the firefight, and then she starts parkouring. So I'm like, damn, she's gonna get to them like in no time, and then she never does. And I was a little disappointed in that based off of the awesome moves she was doing. So she ended up doing those awesome moves for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think my hold up with that. But I agree. I mean, she can read minds. She can stop knives, from hitting your face inches away. She's cunning. This is a 10-year. She's put 10 years into this investment. So she's all in to do whatever I mean, she had to figure out that the Organas were somehow linked to Kenobi, despite the fact that we know that a lot of the archives were destroyed. So how did she get that information? All Jedi stuff gone. Propaganda is out. So like, how did she get that? So she's, they're doing something with that, and very strong character, but she scares me, and I hope she is the enemy in Jedi Fallen Survivor Order thing.
That'd be fantastic. Fallen, yes. Survivor.
Fallen, but not because I know how to do parkour. Yeah. All right. Okay. James, any more bottom, sir, for you?
So I do have one, and Mike and I were kind of talking about this. So it's not the actress that portrays Leia, but just some of the dialogue they gave her, I think, was tough to deliver.
Okay.
Like the alley scene where she's talking with Kenobi, and she's like, "You're not this who you say you are. You're this," and like it just. I feel like they could have like
too mature for her, or just not the right words.
I think it was a little too mature for her.
Okay.
Because she's tremendous. Like she's awesome, and like Mike and I were saying, I don't understand why people are trashing her. Like she's a kid, and I get that she's portraying one of the biggest characters in like cinema and now TV history. But yeah, I just thought some of the dialogue they gave her was a little tough for her.
I will soft disagree just based on the Alderanian party and how she trashes her cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, her cousin's a dick.
Yeah.
Like nice comb over, loser.
I kind of hope he was on Alderaan when it got blown up.
Oh,
he was. He definitely
good.
Was. There was a meme about that. But I think you haven't made a decision in your life. Blah 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 blah. I know more than you, and I've never left this planet. She's got those witty lines.
Yeah, and those are great.
and they're showing rebellion. She likes to go climbing. She's naming ships. So she's wicked smart, with that kind of stuff. It's very, I mean, Obi's you, man. He's like, yo, how old are you?
Yeah.
What?
10. You don't sound like you're 10.
Doesn't sound like you're 10, and did you ever have a conversation with a kid and they just say something awesome and you're like, what?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
So that's, but I get what you're saying. Like, maybe they should dial it back a little bit. Like, we get it. You're the princess. We understand. You don't have to do that too much to really hammer in. I think she was yeah. Dragon Buddy for sure. That is we're going back to Riva speaking to a theory out there. Again, not my thought, is that Riva is one of the younglings in the beginning of our show. So she would know Kenobi. She would know this. She would know that. She's ingrained in the Jedi. They couldn't protect us. So now I'm after them. And I'm after the guy that told us to stay away. And that's Kenobi. It would all make sense. Now, for the casual person, no idea what we're talking about. But for the show's sake, I'm good with that. I'm down.
That would be that would be a great little backstory flashback reveal.
100%. It's a good. That would be good if Grogu survived, right?
Right.
And I'm in. I'll take it one step further. I'm okay with them retconning Anakin killing all the younglings, but recruiting them to become Inquisitors, or just to put them away for a rainy day, as they would say, because he was trained when he was trained when he was 10. So why not them? Why not deliver some hate with them? So I'm good with that too. I don't care that he killed younglings. That's an irrelevant detail to me. But I can subscribe to the fact that if they're going to introduce Force wielding characters, where did they come from?
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. If they decide to go that way. Thank you, Nicole. Nailed it. I forget what point I nailed, but I appreciate you agreeing.
If they do that, the only one that speaks needs to come back.
Skywalker. They're everywhere. What do we do? Is that exactly the lines?
It's close enough though, and that is just like PTSD.
Zoom.
Oh, terrible.
That was Nary. No, I don't know. But is it Broom Boy? No, that doesn't make sense either.
It's Broom Boy's grandfather.
Yeah, somehow Broom Boy returned.
I feel like we say that line at least once in every episode.
You know what? I gotta isolate it as a clip. I think it's important that I do that tonight. I don't have any more bottoms. Anybody else have any bottoms to mention?
Nope.
There's not that much to mention. I like the episodes a lot. They're First of all, they're very rewatchable. Yeah. I can sit down and watch this again, and I will watch it again and again.
I didn't like the gunfight scene. I think the gunfight scenes were a little too long and
they're so uncivilized.
Austin Powersy, where they're like right back to back and they just keep firing over at each other and nobody hits anybody. Like
terrible bounty hunting.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a plot device to make it more dramatic than it needs to be. But again, Obi, I don't think Obi-Wan's a good shot. He's 1 for 1 on Grievous before that night, and then he was immediately 0 for 45. 1 for 1. He was Jimmy Butler at the end of the Miami Heat game. Just completely missing his shots. But whatever. All right, so this Dave Condia checks in. So uncivilized. We have, if there's nothing else, we can move on to our 1 sentence summary.
What about noticements?
Just kidding.
Time for the noticements.
I'm all thrown off, man. I tell you.
It's all right.
I appreciate you keeping me on track. To be honest with you,
I keep you on track.
I got jammed up. Check the judges. I'm an idiot. Got it. Here we go. Obviously, everybody knows a clone vet. I think Tamora Morrison could carry an entire live-action clone reality show. What are the clones doing now?
After
Right.
Boba, I don't know.
Clones, where are they now?
Right. Exactly. Like I think he could be part of that. Like the Rex and the other two in Rebels, and they're old, and they're just like hanging out in the desert in their ATTE. Is it ATTE or whatever it is? And they're doing their thing. So I think he could actually do it. But I loved it. It definitely was him, right? Not CGI or anything like that. We think it was him. Was he credited in the episode?
Ooh,
I think he was.
Okay, that's cool. I thought that was
He's definitely on IMDb.
Okay.
Internet Mike database. Excellent.
Internet Mike database. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was great, and I thought it was like, of course, there's veterans. You know what I mean? Like, of course, the more real they can make Star Wars, it's believable. We believe the galaxy exists. Like they have flying starships, but they're all beat up looking.
Listening to Fortunate Son.
What was that?
I ain't no fortunate son, no.
I don't know what that is. What are you doing?
It's like every Vietnam movie has this.
Forrest Gump is like the only one I could really think of, but
got it. But yeah, no, I love the clone vet sort of stuff. He had blue armor. Does that make him part of the 501st? I don't know. Does he know Ahsoka? Probably. Who doesn't? I think we're definitely going to get live action clone Rex in the Ahsoka show. Tamor is not going away.
Oh yeah,
this is easy. This is easy claps for him. And then the only other thing I thought was cool, again, I found out on the internet, is that the Spicer girl is actually Ewan McGregor's daughter in real life.
I did read that. That's pretty cool.
Pink-haired girl who gives the spice to him is the actual daughter. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know her name. Doesn't it does matter, but I didn't pick up on it. But I just read that and I was like, that's really awesome.
I looked at her. I was like, she looks familiar, and they don't just give like random talking lines to people who don't know.
Right.
And I was like, oh, now I know why she looks familiar. She looks like Ewan McGregor.
She looks like cyberpunk Jesus. Giving away spice. Welcome in, General Kenobi. Attempted to sleep, didn't work. Now she's here to fall asleep. I appreciate you.
Speaking of
Esther Rose, thank you, Esther.
Speaking of the spice, have you noticed how like fast and loose Star Wars has gotten with the whole spice drug references thing?
Yeah,
a lot of drugs. That's because marijuana is legal, getting legal.
Yeah.
So they're just staying with the times.
But like not even like soft drugs like marijuana. She's like, take this and you'll forget about her soon. I'm like, Jesus. Good Lord.
In a few hours, you won't even know who you are, buddy. It really is hard. But I mean, Solo really introduced the spicy stuff.
And then the Breaking Bad Spice Lab going on.
I love it. I got a little Breaking Bad, again, a stolen reference from Twitter because there's nothing original. I can only say that I got it from Twitter. That'll be in my 1-sentence summary coming up pretty soon. But yeah, Dames, did you notice anything that is outside of the realm of the clone vet and the Spicer girl?
So the chase scene where Leia's running away yet again almost kind of mimics the same scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan. I think in Attack of the Clones.
Correct.
Like it almost looks shot for shot. Like at least like if you screen grab a couple of the scenes, like right there. So that was pretty cool.
I'm down with that.
So Obi-Wan, obviously, like at that point, he's just tired of, he's
tired of being
around people.
Tired of these rooftop scenes.
He's too old for this shit. Come on, let's go.
Do we think Obi-Wan, like him wearing his Jedi uniform, is the smartest move?
I was thinking that same exact thing. I'm like, how do I look like a Jedi? How do I not look like a Jedi? Let me put a robe on and put a hood on my head.
Shave the beard. I don't know. Get like a nice suit.
I do think he should have maybe gone with a more disguise. And then like episodes 5 and 6, he dons the robe. Like he's back, baby, full force.
So he does have the robe, but like his like kind of like tunic and stuff is different now.
For sure, he doesn't have
like standard Jedi garb,
right?
So
it appears he left all that. It appears he left all that in his Jedi Interceptor, which was loosely mentioned by Tika the Jawa, because that was his belt. I believe that was his belt in episode 1. Jedi belt.
Yes.
I believe so. So anyways, keep going, Dames. I apologize.
No, that was all. That was the one big thing I noticed. And then obviously Tamora Morrison, everyone's favorite from Book of Boba Fett. Yeah,
Cool.
They can really milk him in the Star Wars galaxy.
Oh, they really can.
And
Awesome.
I think they will. Like it's going to be crazy to see. Like we'll see him pop up in multiple projects down the road, and it's going to be cool.
Doing?
He is Joey Tribbiani in all his shows. It's the same character across all of the soaps.
I mean, that's great for him because he's just getting fat checks and doing the same exact thing. Wash, rinse, and repeat.
It really is. It's incredible. It's incredible. All right, Mike. Any other notices that you've seen?
I got a couple.
Cool.
So all the trailer footage has been shown.
There it is. I figured you were going to mention that.
Yeah, all the trailer footage has been shown. So that one piece of the trailer footage where everybody was like, "That's Solo's blaster," that was Haja in the alley.
Yes. I did not watch the trailers like that. I watched it one time and I was like, "Cool. I like where this is going," and then never again.
And we also have the return of a garrison. There was a mention of a garrison.
Like deploy the garrison. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
indeed. I enjoyed the stormtrooper action there.
Mm-hmm.
For realsy, that's good stuff.
Which we still don't have an absolute number of what a garrison.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Now, all right. I'm with you. I did not know what you were talking about. We had a very lengthy conversation of how many is a garrison. Didn't we? Wasn't that the question?
And then I looked it up. It was like 500. Oh no, this is just a specific war where a garrison of 500 people showed
5
up.
to 5,000. We're not sure, but this one had 10. I think the garrison.
So it's just a group of people ready to fight.
Just the congregation. Nothing
it is.
crazy.
I mean, but
guys, we could be a garrison.
we are a garrison if we really put our minds to it. Chat, you are also a garrison. What is a plethora?
Oh, please tell me you are referencing Three Amigos.
She has to be. She's very good with pop culture. She's very good.
Please tell me you are referencing Three Amigos. You will be my best friend in the world.
We're fading it with bated breath. We're gonna highlight it.
What's the delay with the with the chat?
Yes!
Okay, there you go.
There could be up to 15-second delay. A plethora of pinatas.
Jefe, can you tell me what a plethora is?
that's great.
Three Amigos is one of the most underrated movies in the world.
Yes,
Chevy Chase, man, like Martin Short. I mean,
you can't beat it.
You can't.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm gonna have to go back and
so good.
Rewatch it. All right, friends, we are going to move in to our 1 sentence summary.
It's now time for that 1 sentence summary.
Yeah. All right. I'll begin because I missed 14 minutes rocking my daughter and sucking the boogers out of her nose with the booger sucker.
Ugh.
And also giving a little bit of Benadryl. So take this to put yourself to do me a favor. Don't wake back up. We've got a show to do. Anyway, my 1 sentence summary is Holozenberg enters Cyberpunk 2077 while saving Leia, only to find out little Annie is alive.
Nice.
And the Holozenberg was the thing I stole from the internet. Let's see. I think Mike has no song. Anybody have a song?
For this one, I do have a song.
Oh, well, then you're going last.
Yes,
so maybe we'll throw it to you.
All right. Kenobi tries to rescue Leia while a parkouring Inquisitor gives a grand end to one of her peers.
Oh! That's a good one. Very good. Stellar. All right.
Wizard.
All right. That was Wizard. I enjoyed that one. Very good. All right, Mike.
This is in the key of a classic song by the legend Juvenile. Darth, you look good. Won't you back that ass up?
We'll isolate it. That's good. That is good. I enjoyed that actually. I enjoyed that a lot. If you have any 1-sentence summaries, chat, you want to throw them in there, we'll highlight them. We will highlight them after our predictions. I love that it just cuts off. It's incredible. Print it. Send it. Send it to print. My predictions.
I am loving all of the Three Amigos love in the chat.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Excuse me, are you the singing bush?
Look at the quart of the iced tea. God bless.
Little Wawa.
Little Wawa. People don't get the Wawas. If you know what Wawa is, put something in the chat. Put a goose in the chat.
I think they're spreading. They're getting out there.
They are. So next episode predictions, which by the way is tomorrow in just a few short hours. I will be getting up early to watch it. My alarm will go off at 5:45. Bang, I'm up.
Yep.
I'll come down, make some coffee, and I will watch it. Maybe I'll get up a little earlier, set it for 5:15 or something like that. That way I have enough time to digest it. Maybe we'll put something out on YouTube immediately, a la Casa de Dupree, because that's how you got to pump that content, baby. And make sure you follow Casa de Dupree.
Yeah, Dragon Buddy. That's right. The Gobbler.
So I think, of course, I think we're going to have a cat and mouse chase. You know, they're going to go see Mapuza, right? That's the person that Haja is sending them to, Mapuza. You know, who is this person? Who is this Mapuza? And what are they going to do? I do like that. I do love that Haja says, you know, you're not alone, dude. People will help you. Yet for 10 years, he's just been hiding, isolating. So like he's got trust issues for sure. He's got to let go a little bit. He's got to trust. You know, even Leia's like, you know, if he's offering help, we should probably take it. Because your options are terrible right now. You just, I've been shot at, just fell to my death. Like, I love that. Those were great lines. But I think the Inquisitor chase continues. Obviously, the Grand Inquisitor will be healed somehow. From what I understand, they have 2 stomachs. So I don't think it's fatal. This species has 2 stomachs.
The Bacta tank.
Will Riva be thrown out of the Inquisitorious peoples, thus going rogue and can do whatever she wants, even though she's already doing whatever she wants? And will we have Riva flashbacks to youngling territory? That'd be cool. I think Kenobi and Leia continue their adventure together. I think Leia's here to stay for a bit. You know, and I think you know, they're obviously not on a starship they can control. Mm-hmm. So they got to get to the next planet. Oh no, baby Grogu drank all the milk. Just
Grogu, who dis?
Mando, to get us that milk. Oh, baby Grogu. Anyway, and do we get Vader next episode?
No. I think flashbacks.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, I'll throw it to Mike. Do you have any predictions or questions you would like to ask the crowd?
Like they set it up. They set up what's going to probably happen next episode. You said it. They're going to who they finding? I forget the name already.
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
Yeah.
Mapuza Hatata.
So I do believe the theory going on that Riva is one of the younglings. I do believe that theory, especially the one who got the talking line in that opening scene. I think that we're going to come to find out that is Riva. I think it's going to be Riva is trying to use Obi-Wan as an end to a mean, where she is going after Darth Vader, not she is working for Darth Vader. Okay. She wants to get close to Darth so she can try to kill him because she knows what he did to the younglings. And Obi-Wan is just a means to the end for her.
It's a bait and switch.
Yes.
Double bait and switch.
I don't think there's going to be a team up. I don't think there's going to be like a Obi-Wan Reva team up to try to take down Vader. I think this is like Reva's on her own little mission.
Yeah, Reva's gonna get killed.
I don't think
survive it.
I don't think Reva makes it out of the series.
No,
I mean,
the limited series,
Fallen,
the limited series.
her time is limited. Let's just say that. I love the character, but in this series, her time is limited.
Yeah, second sister,
there's going to be a fourth sister at some point.
The second sister did the best she could, and Vader didn't play no games with her.
No,
like second sister was very afraid of Vader.
Yes,
like very afraid.
And at some point, we're going to get a Qui-Gon sighting.
I have to.
They focused so much on him in the recap, and there's so many like references, like Master Qui-Gon, if now talk to me now, blah 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 blah.
And the fact that they at Celebration they announced he's voice acting some animation for Tales of the Jedi. So like stars are aligning for that, literally. Would love Liam Neeson to come back and reprise his role. Does he come back as a burnt person? No, right. That's not true.
Ugh. Force Ghost.
If he comes back and he's like, you don't remember me. We spoke through the Force 3 days ago.
I have a particular set of skills that allows me to come back as a luminous being, as they would say.
I will find you and I will kill you.
Yes, I will find you and I will heal you. Dames, Mike, are you good in terms of questions and predictions and stuff?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like there's definitely a Reva agenda with the show, and I think that's all for a reason. And I do think,
Damien, you're sounding like a lot of those commenters right now.
Well, no, I mean that she's gonna be like an actual like anti-hero-ish character. And then obviously Liam. I think we're definitely getting a Liam appearance at some point. But my out there prediction, aside from my normal prediction of Dengar always somehow showing up some way,
I was so excited.
Dengar.
I really do think we could get a random Rogue One character cameo, background, something bumps into somebody. Like it's entirely possible. The timeline matches up. I would love to see like Chirrut. Just like sitting somewhere and Kenobi just walks by him, or they
go to Jeddah.
I mean,
Jeddah would be a great location.
It would be pretty cool, and especially with Andor coming out. Like, it's just a neat little tie-in to kind of like tie in all of the movies and the shows and all that stuff. So I do think we might get a random Rogue One character cameo.
I dig it. It would make sense because they're trying to cross promote and market and this and that and whatever, and that would totes make sense. Again, there's a lot of things in play here. It's very plausible that you get a Rebels character, you get Ahsoka. They have all these chess pieces they can use, and it's whether or not they want to overuse them. They don't want to do that, but they want to use them sparingly to set up, whatever they need to set up.
It's a sandbox.
Right now, they somehow figured my biggest complaint, as you know, with the Skywalker saga is they've run out of room to tell stories within that particular niche.
Right.
Yet somehow you just named the potential of several characters coming back in a show. I don't think it's going to be a big character reveal like the Luke Skywalker reveals and stuff like that. I think they're going to allow Ewan to really run this show here. I think Hayden's big enough, to be honest with you. So I don't think they'll bring back a third character or maybe they will. I think whatever they decide to do, I'm all on board. I'm all on board with the story group in this particular show. And that's a complete 180 from Book of Boba Fett, in which outside of episode 4-5 or 3-4 or whatever it was, it was hot. Just they experimented, they got their feedback, and obviously Kenobi was already under development, but that feedback is important to shape the future of these shows. Mando season 3, Mando season 4 already underway. Ahsoka coming out. It's going to be there's lots of wonderful things that they can do with the feedback that they've received, and maybe I really would love to see a Vader miniseries. I think we have to see it. He's so crazy in the comics with his power that we've he had his own trilogy. Not really.
Right.
Not really. What someone do the math. How much screen time does Vader get?
I do love numbers.
Just being Vader. And the Vader that we know, the Rogue One Vader. That's the Vader that people want.
Would be the one I'd want to see
now.
for
That's
sure.
the one that you want to see. You want to see that pure rage. You don't want to see 50-year-old Vader. You want to see him in his prime. And in this 10-year, this conflict right now, where the storyline is, he's in his prime. He's pulling down X-Wings using the Force. That's what he's doing right now. He's pushing back proton torpedoes while flying a ship and blowing people up. And that's what he's doing. That I would love to see that. That would be.
Sean, we've talked about this too. I want to see them just do, like, I'm kind of tired of seeing stories about the good guys. I want to see some bad guy stories. I want to see hashtag Disney go dark.
I want to see Star Wars Descendants.
Get it. I'm in. I am on board.
Except they turn good, but we get it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I mean, Vader's dude. Like, Vader is one of the most compelling characters, just not even Star Wars, but all of cinema. Like, when you look at the whole story arc, it is so good. And it would just be awesome to kind of see him during his like Breaking Bad moments. And just like you said, super powered. Like, that would be just so much fun.
You could write a story that would make him vulnerable. Like, I've got these new legs that I don't really know how to use. So he's stumbling over himself for the first couple
and
years.
then, training montage.
Right.
We need one.
That's him, walking. Don't call me Christopher.
He sounds like the guy from
how do I breathe in this thing?
That video game movie. Shoot. Grandma's Boy. The guy who thinks he's a robot.
Great reference. Great reference. Yeah, so that's good stuff. So not to cut us off and reminisce. What would the show be called? It would have to be called The Dictionary of Darth Vader, right? Something like that.
The Diaries of Darth.
Oh, that would be
Diaries
fun.
of Darth.
So much fun. All right. I think we move on to our final segment, which of course is Mike's OnlyFans. So aggressive.
This one is really aggressive. I'm sorry.
Chat,
everybody.
prepare yourself.
Please.
Podcasters, prepare yourself. It's explicit for a reason.
Oh, please don't.
Do I need to
judge
prepare
me.
a sounder?
Maybe.
All right. I'm ready.
So, for this week, you can find me on my OnlyFans. Moose fart in my mouth.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Boost a fart in my mouth? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's hot.
I'm sorry, everybody.
It's lava hot. That's lava hot.
It was going to be Moose the Fart Box, but...
Oh, my God. All right. So just to the Dragon Buddy loved it.
Here's the line, and I just went, screw it.
Well, we are approaching June, so it's almost at the end of May. It's no big deal. Nicole loved it. I appreciate that. So, hey, let's just do some promo stuff before we get ourselves out of here. So, big thanks to our Red 5 family, Nicole, DB, Kenobi, Dave, you're okay, for coming on out. Scarif for coming on out. Who else was in here? The Luna Girl was in here for a bit. Appreciate you. Steve, good job with your Rogue One radio show. Nicole, good job tonight. I listened in for a good bit, getting myself all prepared. Scarif, you're the best. I appreciate you as we're scrolling. Nahuel, welcome on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for not spamming the chat with your link. I appreciate that. We do have rules here. The only person who can spam the chat with links is Damien. Honestly, so you can do that. DJ Red 4, appreciate you coming on by. We had a bunch of chatters here, and I just appreciate that because it goes great with the banter that we bring, and we hope that we entertained you. Of course, this is an abnormally long show because of the double episode, so anticipate next week's Tuesday show just to be about an hour. All right, so that's pretty good. Everybody will be able to go to sleepy sleep before Kenobi gives you little pieces of salmon in your shoes when you sleep. So it's a wonderful thing to be alive. We're back with Star Wars, baby, and as we always do, if you don't follow Damien on his socials, make sure you do that. He's building Casa de Dupree. Jurassic World is coming out soon. I'm sure he's going to be all over that. Stranger Things is out. He's got a lot of content up on Stranger Things. I'm sure you're pumping it out continuously. I've only in episode 1 so far. I'll get there. And Mike, you had a great accomplishment over the weekend. You came in second place in your open swim, so congratulations.
Just my age group. We're a bunch of old people.
Well, yeah, I was going to make a joke that you were the only one racing and you came in second place. So congratulations. It's pretty impressive. No, but it's good stuff, man. You do a great job. I know you don't do all the socials and content. This is what you do. You come on to here, and I appreciate.
I don't know why you keep me around. I mean, I do no promotion. I'm just like, my social media is like, here's a picture of my kids every 3 months.
Here's why I keep you around.
I mean, there's only one.
That's why I keep you around, buddy.
Anybody could do that.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. But no, this was a great night. It was nice to get the feet wet, to jump back into it. We got our Kenobi robe. We got our Kenobi saber. And I'll show this off just to our late night chatters that this is a master replica. As you can't really see that, it's blurring out, but it's a master replica's 2006 Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber that still works. It's wonderful. Awesome. It's a beautiful thing. And it was in a movie that I created for the intro, and that's exactly how we're going to play this out. So if you're listening to this on podcast, on Spotify, I do upload the video, so you should be able to see this on your little mobile device. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Damien, thank you. Mike, thank you. We will see everybody next week, 9:30-ish sharp. Good luck with part 3. Hopefully, hey, listen, that's going to be our mid-season show, which is so crazy.
Jeez, already.
Everybody, it's been real. We're approaching 2 hours. Love you all. We'll see you next time.